Alright lads, so before the video does begin, my guild Dishonor is currently recruiting. We are looking for a few new members. If you are interested in joining, feel free to DM me on Discord. Just show me your guild quest scores. If you can score decently high and get a decent score, you don't have to get the best score in every single guild quest phase, we can potentially get you in. And if you are someone that has DM'd me in the past, feel free to DM again. I'll get back to you later today. So with that said, today we finally did get the implementation of some of the changes that we are going to see specifically in the Nightmare difficulty guild quests. Last week we also did see some other changes, more so for the easier difficulties, but most of the problems that we have had in guild quests have been seen in the Nightmare difficulty, so these are the changes that we are going to see. The first one is the enemy HP adjustments. To provide a stronger feeling of character growth and player skill improvement, we'll be adjusting enemies' HP. Starting from today, the enemy HP will be adjusted for each rules set's first appearance, and the amount of HP adjusted will vary depending on the specific rule set and will remain consistent for all subsequent appearances of the same rule set. So this overall, in my opinion, is already a good change. It's not perfect, I'll say what I mean by that in a minute, but I do think it's a good change. So what we're going to see now is that every upcoming guild quest phase, they might see some HP differences, but that HP that we are going to see is going to be set in stone. So that does mean that if you can clear this current guild quest phase, the Ranged Hollow guild quest, you will know now in advance that anytime it does come back, you are going to be able to clear it, or if not, get the exact same score. Maybe even a higher score if your account has technically gotten better. That's been a problem that we have been seeing, is that every time a new character, for example, releases, the enemy's HP will just skyrocket to make use of that new character, and you don't really even sometimes get a higher score, because one guild quest phase I might have been able to get 50 seconds, and even though I now pulled that potential new character, because the HP has been increased, I'm potentially even getting a worse score. They do stay, however, though, keep in mind that if any changes in the future are made to the difficulty, including enemies' HP adjustments, they will provide a notice in advance, which I guess is nice. So with that in mind, for this current guild quest phase, what we are seeing right now is that in total, the enemies are going to have around 2 billion HP combined. We'll talk about it in a minute, but you're also going to notice that this guild quest phase does have access to 6 extra stages, so 2 more now. Like I just said, in total, it's around 2 billion HP. We've actually seen more HP for other guild quest phases that only have 4 extra stages. So it's not like because there are 2 more extra bosses, the difficulty has been significantly increased, but it is something to keep in mind. Now, one problem that I have, and this isn't really being addressed here, in fact, they basically said the exact opposite, is that I would like to see what we saw before the 10th anniversary, is that every guild quest phase had the exact same amount of HP. I like comparing scores from one guild quest phase to another. One thing that I had, and one reason to get me summoning, was to try and get a sub 50 second remaining on every single guild quest phase. It also, in a way, made it easier for us to compare characters, because when a new character would come out with a very similar damage output to another, I would know that likely they're going to get a certain clear time, if that kind of makes sense. Because what we're seeing here is that the next guild quest phase is actually going to have around 2.5 billion HP. Now again, next time we see this guild quest phase in the future, it will remain 2.5 billion. It won't go higher. So maybe if we do get a new character for, let's say, the Melee Quincy guild quest, you will noticeably get a better score. So it's a good change in my opinion, but I would have much preferred if every guild quest phase had the exact same amount of HP. Because now, for example, getting a 50-second clear time in the Ranged Hollow guild quest is going to mean something completely different in the Melee Quincy guild quest. Is it that big of a deal? I don't know, but personally, I would rather every guild quest phase has the exact same amount of HP. At the very least, though, we will know now, going forward, this HP, for the time being, is set in stone. It will not be changing going up or down. The next talking point, as already briefly mentioned, is that extra wave expansion is going to be seen. So we recognize that there is currently an issue where it's difficult to create a significant score difference when clearing up to Extra Wave 4. To address this, we'll be adjusting Extra Waves so that characters' power-ups and also player skill are more clearly reflected in the score, allowing for more challenging and also enjoyable experience. What they basically mean is that, again, we're just going from 4 extra stages to now 6. I don't think anyone in particular was asking for more. I don't dislike it. Maybe it's something to work towards. But again, like I already mentioned, we've seen guild quest phases with like significantly more HP. So even though there are now 2 extra waves, I believe the HP is still around the same that we saw before the last time this guild quest phase was here. But since we now do have access to 2 new extra stages, level 5 and also 6, the highest score to get 600 million is going to be clearing extra level 6. And with that, these are the rewards that you are going to get for clearing those 2 new extra levels. 2 Essence Scrolls and also a Quintessence Scroll. Now, I'm a bit indifferent when it comes to the rewards that we are getting here. For the most part, it being Essence Scrolls means that if you can't clear extra wave 5 and 6, it's not that big of a deal. You're not missing out on anything. And as a result, it technically means Guild Quest is less pay to win. At the same time, though, I can see another player's perspective where maybe they do want more orbs for clearing 5 and 6 because they maybe deserve it. They're putting in the extra work, they're clearing the more difficult content. Why would someone now want to clear 5 and 6 if the rewards aren't anything of value? Spirit Orbs, for example. So maybe I would have liked to have seen Spirit Orbs in 5 and 6 so those, that can clear the harder content can get rewarded for it. But as a result, maybe it does make it more punishable for those that can't clear it. So orb count is staying the exact same. I don't believe it's gotten any harder to get the orbs, but now they're just 2 extra waves. So if you can clear it, great. Extra rewards, extra Essence Scrolls, Quintessence Scrolls. If you can't, it's not that big of a deal. But I think one good change that we are seeing is that now we have access to 99 Guild Quest passes daily. Before it was 10, now it's 99. I would have still loved if it was just unlimited, but I mean, if you're going through 99 Guild passes a day, maybe you're spending too much time on Guild Quests. I think even me in the past, where I have spent a long time resetting, I don't think I've ever done more than 99. So for the most part, this maybe does solve the need of resetting the app. You can now just quit the quest and consume another guild pass. And hopefully that should be a much faster experience when it comes to resetting. I think a retry button would have been better, but overall this is a good change. So with that all said, now let's actually try and attempt to clear this Guild Quest phase, this time not using any of the new characters. Mainly because I don't own the new characters, but of course Ugram and Basby are designed to be used together, especially alongside Gremmy, so if you got all 3 of those units, you're going to make a very powerful team and likely clear very fast and also very easily. For those that don't have the new characters though, this is what I'm personally working with, and I think it might be the best team that you can use without Ugram and also Basby thrown into the mix. So in this case, of course, we are going to use Gremmy. Fortunately for us, with the final boss being Technique to promote the new Ugram, it does actually make Gremmy a lot better. For the last few months, the final enemy has been powered to promote the new Zombie Rangiku and also Toshiro. So that meant that Gremmy performed worse. Now he's kind of just in a neutral state, so his damage output can be a lot better. With that in mind, we are going with these 3 accessories and these 3 soul traits. My Gremmy, of course, is Max Transcendent with level 14 SP and Focus. And with that, Nanao is here on the team to more so provide us with a 30% SP boost through the aura effect, and also give a damage boost to a character like Shuntui. He is getting extra normal attack damage. We also have the protection from the barrier, the heal if Shuntui needs it to stay at full stamina, and Shuntui as a Soripa is going to get 30% more damage for being a Soripa. Now, despite Shuntui only having Flurry +1 because he is quite the old character, actually, to be fair, he came out a month before Flurry +2 became the norm, which is kind of unfortunate. He at the very least does have attribute advantage. That should help him out a little bit, especially when paired with a character like Nanao. Now, in this case, we're going to use a Masanga, just because I'm being a bit lazy. I should be using a Holo Killer sticker at 5-star plus, which I don't kind of have access to. So if you want to make your build better, definitely go with that. But give him as much normal attack damage as possible. And in this case, my Shuntui is only 2 out of 5. So level 14 attack, level 14 focus. So with that said, let's see if we can do Is it 2 billion? Just 2 billion damage. So SA1 into the 2. We're going to do really good damage on the first boss here. We're not going to go for like a super fast clear score. We're just going to see if we can actually beat it. So going into the second phase, or sorry, third wave. I think I completely missed my SA1 there. I think next wave we're going to use our EX boost. So there we go, SA3. Into one. We didn't inflict paralysis, unfortunately, even though we did use our EX there. That kind of sucks, in my opinion. And we also have our Soul Bomb, which I might as well save. Again, we're just trying to see if we can clear it. After that, I can maybe worry about getting a fast clear score. So right now, we have 40 seconds to clear 6 extra waves. Is that even possible? Maybe. So SA1, no starter summon, unfortunately. SA2. I think we're going to want to maybe save the EX attack for Gremmy on the extra waves, because I don't know if we have a boost available right now, unless Shuntui has used it. He should be using it soon, if not, though. And we still have our Soul Bomb. I think we're looking actually pretty good time right now. Again, each individual boss here doesn't have a lot of HP. It does mean, however, since there are 6 bosses, you have to reapply your status on it. And that can be kind of annoying. So in this case, can we beat it? Potentially. SA2 into the SA1, and we were actually able to clear it. Not too bad, considering that I do not have any of the new characters, and we are working with a friendly 1 character. So Grammy right now looks to be still really good in this guild quest phase, just about able to beat it. Having Shunsui in the mix, especially with the now, definitely does help, and we were able to get all the rewards, and we were able to clear it first attempt. With that in mind, I think we can definitely get faster. I don't think that was a perfect attempt by any means. What you likely want to do, something that I didn't do, is use the EX faster. So we used it, and due to the 1 minute countdown, or cooldown, we weren't able to use it again in the extra wave. So if you use it a little bit before, maybe within the first 10 seconds, you should be able to use it again twice in a guild quest run. So let's use our SA3 into the 1, maybe use the EX here, then use our SA1. That doesn't sound too bad, to be fair. Let's Soul Bomb into the 2. And then SA3 into the 1. Unfortunately, Shunsui was wasting time using a strong attack there. And we're able to clear it in 41 seconds. So now let's find out if we can actually clear the extra waves without the need of a Soul Bomb, right? Because we are just going to be relying on our strong attacks. So right now, I don't believe we have a team boost active. So Shunsui's damage output is going to be on the little lower end right now. Let's use our 2. Into the 1. SA3. Use our 1 again. Just use all the strong attacks that we can. 30 seconds to go onto extra wave 4. SA1. Shunsui definitely has the boost active now. I just need to reapply my SP boost. And then now you can see, right, we have our access to our EX boost. And I guess we're going to use that on the final boss. So even though we have 10 seconds to go, we should be good still. Let's EX now. This is where we get to do a lot of damage. So definitely use the EX a lot faster. Maybe on the second boss doesn't sound like a bad idea. Maybe if you could do it on the third boss. Just don't save it for any further than that. And in that case, we cleared a little bit faster. And I guess it's nice to know now that anytime a potential new Holo Killer character does get added to the game, you know, they might eventually add more extra levels. Because again, right now we have access to 6. There will be 10 in the future. So in a way, guild quests can still get harder, but you're never going to not be able to clear what you can already clear, unless the final, you know, enemies start to change. That'll be a little bit different. So if the 7th and 8th extra level does get added, I know I'm going to at least be able to get to level 6. And hopefully by the time 7 or 8 does get added to the game, by that point I can maybe get access to Ugrim and also Basby. So that's pretty much all the changes that we are seeing right now in the Nightmare difficulty guild quests. I think there are some good changes here. Again, my biggest problem was always the fact that every guild quest phase has different HP. That is still going to be the case. But at the very least now, we can know going forward with every guild quest phase, what score you get is going to be the score you're always likely going to get. And no longer will the difficulty be made harder in a way out of nowhere, even though you are versing the same 5 waves and 4 extra levels. I think now going forward, the new difficulty is going to be seen in the new addition of extra waves. Either way, let me know what you guys think about it in the comments below, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, and peace.